Welcome to another episode. Today, the question is, just because it is at the top of the human body, does the mind deserve that priority? Just because it is at the top of the human body, does the mind deserve that priority? What is asking why we are giving so much importance to the mind? But the questioner is telling at the top of the body. So does he mean the brain or the mind? So if he is talking about the brain, it is okay. It is at the top of the body. It controls many things voluntarily and involuntarily, automatically. It controls so many functions in our body. It is the seat of our living. The thoughts are there, memories are there, all the vision, everything, hearing, all the senses are processed there. So it plays an important role in our whole living. You cannot neglect it. If your heart stops functioning, you are dead. Similarly, if your brain stops functioning, you are brain dead. So it is very important. So giving importance to brain in the body is a fact which cannot be avoided. But if the questioner is talking about the mind, as his words have said, then it is altogether a different matter. Where is the mind? Can you locate it? No. It is mainly a bundle of thoughts, memories, which we call mind. There is no physical entity called the mind. Of course, emotions and other things are bundled along with that thoughts. If you ask the people of spirituality, they will want you to empty your mind. Use the mind. Don't give importance to it. That's what spiritualists will say. So it has no priority for spiritual person. Question is why you are giving importance? No, it is not a priority. It is a tool. Mind is a tool. Thought is a tool. It is not a master. It is a slave. So first let us see Michio Kaku's saying. What is universally accepted is that brain is the seat of the mind. Thoughts appear in the mind, hence the safe definition seems to be one's mind is a collection of one's thoughts. Since thoughts are made possible by the brain, they can be controlled by manipulating the brain. The science of scientists, physicists and neuroscientists is this. Next, we will see a quote from J. Krishnamurti from his letter to schools. The mind includes the senses, the erratic emotions, the capacity of the brain, and ever restless thought. All this is mind, including various attributes of consciousness. When the whole mind is in operation, it is boundless. It has great energy and action without the shadow of regret and promise of reward. Then we will see a quote from Behind Thousand Names by Osho. Consciousness is our nature. The mind is an acquisition. That is why meditation becomes more and more difficult as the world gets more civilized. The purpose of education and civilization is to train the mind. Our whole living, whole society, whole education and civilization, it trains the mind. Right behaviors, right way of thinking, it consolidates the mind. A better trained mind becomes, the more educated and civilized a person becomes. Then it is more difficult to drop that mind. Once it is civilized, once it is educated, once it is shaped, the mind becomes strong and then it is very difficult to drop the mind. because the mind has received a long training for its survival. Your whole education, the whole effort of your political system is to strengthen the mind. You train it so that in the outside world, in the marketplace, the mind can be successful. The whole training is to make the mind successful in the marketplace, whether in the job market, marriage market, or the society. One has to succeed. One has to make the mind successful. That is the whole purpose. So that is in conflict, competition, rivalry. The mind has to be successful. That's what a normal society wants you to be. But the sage will say just the opposite, reverse. He says that the mind has to be emptied, dissolved. If he wants to be successful in the world, mind has to be trained. Whereas for a sage, it is a movement towards no mind, and the mind has to be transcended. That's what the sage wants. If you desire material achievement, the mind has to be well trained, well organized, and well integrated. But if you desire the spiritual, the mind is not required at all, but no mind. For the spiritual, it does not matter whether the mind is educated or uneducated, organized or unorganized. Mind is not required at all, except for, of course, carrying out your day-to-day thinking, which is thought. His movement is into no mind. The sannyasin's constant effort is that mind should have less and less grip over him. How does the mind become stronger? If you can understand the process, how it becomes stronger, you will be able to understand how it can be weakened. You are continually cooperating with your mind. If you are passing along a road, you are not hungry at all. But once we see the restaurant, the mind says immediately, let us go and have some food. I am hungry. Then your foot turns towards the restaurant. You have your food. You don't stop to question yourself. I was not hungry before I saw the restaurant. Now I feel the hunger. The mind has told you I am hungry. What the mind wants? It wants to have the experience of the taste of a particular food which you like. It's not actually hungry. It's not the physical need. Maybe not. But it is the mental image of the taste which you had in eating a particular dish. You want to repeat it. The mind wants to get that pleasure. So it says, let us go to this restaurant and have that dish. You're hungry. It's not the need of the body, but it is the need of the mind. It's a pseudo hunger. And now if you are listening to that, then you are supporting and strengthening the mind. So this is from Osho. Next we will see from Swami Sivananda. The idea of I is the seed of the tree of mind. The sprout which first springs up from this seed of Ahankara is Buddhi. From this sprout, the ramifying branches called Sankalpas have their origin. Mind is not a gross thing, visible and tangible. Its existence is nowhere seen. Its magnitude cannot be measured. It does not require a space in which to exist. So mind grows up from a seed. It grows up into a big tree with branches. And it does not require a space to be there. It is not a gross thing. There is no physical existence of it. This is what Swami Sivananda says. So this answers the question why we give importance to mind. No, we don't give. The spiritual side of it, people don't give importance to mind. It is towards less and less importance to the mind, weakening of the mind, towards the no mind. But yes, physically brain is important, not the mind. Brain is required for functioning of the body, for thinking, for memory, for analyzing, for living, physical living. That is required. Mind, it is used as a tool. With this, we are ending this episode. Stay with me for another episode. Subscribe to my channel. Share my video. Thank you.